we talked about it every single day, even leading up to this fight.
What's going on, guys? We're back here for another episode of the ANS Podcast, Arm Bars and Suplexes Network here over here on YouTube. And we got a big week to talk about. A lot of stuff happened. We had the UFC 252. We had fight announcements, and we just got done with the Dana White Contender Series. If y'all are watching along, it was a big one. It was a big one. And really excited to get talking about it. Before we get started, what's going on, Jesus? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Another week, another fight.
Awesome job turning up that third round fight to finish. Good news, I told some now, I got a decision. You did an awesome job finishing.
You guys joined the ranks of many famous brother duos in the UFC.
Oh, sorry, guys. We're having a little bit of a problem.
Another go,
guys. Hey, man. I think you're frozen. You're freezing.
Dude, you there?
You good? Yeah, I'm here. Was I frozen?
Yeah, I couldn't even see anything, dude.
Darn it. I'm right by the dang thing too. Oh well. We're gonna power through it. We're gonna power through it. How you doing though, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excited to talk about UFC 250. What is it? 252 or 251?
252, man. I was able to find a storyline for each fight on the main card to discuss, and I'm really excited to get into it. Go ahead.
Good, man. I mean, yeah, I think we should definitely discuss the main card. We got so much to talk about. I didn't get to see the entire main card, like I mentioned to you. I had some things going on, but I did see the ones that counted, which there was a lot to talk about, like you mentioned. And then we got some awesome upcoming fights that are coming up. I think you mentioned that there's some SummerSlam stuff going on too. For
SummerSlam this Sunday, baby.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, man. I'm real excited about today's show.
Absolutely, got the beer ready to go. Have a good night. You see the star. It ain't never gonna change.
They won today, man. They won today. In extra innings, man. Those weird extra inning rules.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get it started with as always. What are you watching? I started last week. You go ahead and start, bro. Give me one TV show, one movie you've been watching this week.
Man, the movie I saw this weekend on Friday, as a matter of fact, it's called Project Power on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Really good movie, man. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool concept. If you had powers for 5 minutes, what would you do with it? Would you try it? I mean, I just like the whole thing. I also like that they set up. Have you seen it? You haven't got a chance to see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. No.
Right, well,
I know what it's about, but I am going to see it.
All right, I won't ruin it for you, but it's a really good movie. It has some good actors. It has Jamie Foxx in it, and Gordon Levitt.
KGL?
Yeah, he's in there as well. They do a good job in it, and also the young girl, the young lady in there. She does a really good job as well. I forgot her name, but really good movie. Excited for it. Excited to see what comes from it if they do sequels or not. Either way, it's a good movie. As far as TV shows, I haven't really watched too many TV shows. I was trying to watch that show Lovecraft Country on Sunday on HBO, the new one that came out. I saw probably about the first 20 minutes of it, and from what I saw, it was pretty good. It had really good special effects on it, and it was real trippy. It was real trippy, man. The first sequence is real trippy. But it did definitely grab me. I definitely want to go back and watch the rest. I just didn't get a chance to because I got busy. But I'm definitely gonna be watching that going forward.
All right. So the TV show that I just watched an episode. It's an anime called Initial D. Came out in the 90s. It's a racing anime. Drifting and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. The animation, I said in my review of it, the animation looks very it reminded me of Speed Racer when I was a kid.
Cool.
So it was like a familiar feel. It's not too jarring because some of that old animation can be jarring sometimes, especially watching it now.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was good. In the beginning, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna get me, and I was wondering how are you gonna hook me? How are you you're watching a show, you're like, all right, it's going good, but how are you gonna hook me to want to watch that next episode? And they have a nice little cliffhanger at the end of the episode, so looking forward to watching the second episode of that. And then the movie we watched, we all watched it family night. Apparently Sunday nights are gonna be our movie nights from now on.
Nice.
And we watched the Tax Collector.
Oh man, how was that, man?
I didn't love it, man.
That's what I'm hearing.
I had high hopes for it. I liked it I shouldn't say I like David Ayer a lot. End of Watch is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
End of Watch is great actually. Like it's not just good. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, man. Like something about Ayer. Like I liked part of Suicide Squad, but I don't love it. Like I can. That's but it's one of those movies I could sit down and watch and not have a problem with. Never watched Fury. Bright wasn't good. So it's just like I don't know. The guy's like really hit or miss, and this is one of those misses that just like my family liked it. I think it's it's very
Has a lot of action or something, right?
It's very mainstream, and like it's very like it'll get a mainstream audience for sure. Because us Americans, we love our drugs and gangs and stuff. We like those movies, man. But
can't get enough.
Yeah, but it just one kind of like just lag. It lagged for a bit, and then it went a certain way for no fucking reason.
Like it took a hard left turn, huh?
Yeah, I got into something weird. Like it was just, and I thought it was like maybe gonna pay off at the end. It didn't, man.
Nope.
Like it's just weird. And then Shiah is completely wasted in the movie. Like,
yeah,
he's wasted, bro. Like you get Shiah, and I was excited for Shiah in this part because he looked cool. You can see there's a certain like I would rather have like a prequel instead of like a sequel. Give me a prequel with Shiah's character. Prequel.
Just him. See, I got to where he was at.
Because like even in the trailer, man, like that's what roped me in was Shiah as Creeper. Even though like people were like complaining about him even though he wasn't doing brownface, but saying he's doing brownface, and because white people have to complain about something. Because I mean, all the Mexicans that I know didn't give a shit about Shiah acting like playing a Mexican and.
Oh my god, dude.
But
it's gonna be one of those shows.
Yeah, sorry guys, hope you're not a snowflake, I guess. No, but
I mean, hey, I agree. Like, I don't care, man. As long as they play a good part, I really don't care. Now, if it's like, I'll give you an example, like the ancient one in Doctor Strange. That's her name, right? The ancient one. What's her name?
Yeah,
I think that was whack. That's something that's whack. But something like this. Don't get me wrong. She did a great job, and she's a great actress. I
like the explanation for it. It wasn't like she was playing an Asian. Like it was like because there's a bunch of ancient ones throughout the.
Yeah, but like if the ancient one is an Asian in the comic book canon, you don't have a lot of Asians in comic books to begin with. Why not make this one an Asian? Just this one. You know what I mean? It's pretty big part.
I guess the way I looked at it was like because when they said like, oh, this is one of the ancient ones, like if they show maybe they like open, I thought like they would open it up to see a couple other ancient ones, like Doctor Strange going into like some kind of astral plane and having to talk to him or something.
I agree that would have been pretty cool.
We're getting Multiverse of Madness pretty soon. So.
That's true. But yeah, man, I mean, I didn't mind that Shiah was playing Creeper, whoever it is or whatever. I don't care.
And he's the most interesting character in the whole movie.
Well, dude, I mean, he's
kind of an unceremonious exit, and you're just like, come on, like, you set him up to be like this really cool character, and he has this all. Shiah went into this with a whole backstory and put his all into it, and it just looked like nobody else was. Like even David Ayer, like Shiah was in a completely different movie. Not in terms of like it being a bad thing. Like he was in his eyes, he was like there to fucking pull it out.
Yeah, and he was being a professional.
Everybody else around him just didn't show up. So,
yeah, man,
definitely a disappointment. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the same thing. I've had a couple buddies watch it, and they were like, like exactly like what you said. Like it's just a mainstream movie. It's just has some action in it. Yep. It's entertaining, but I mean that's pretty much the depth that it goes through is just to entertain you. Yeah. I expected more. I wanted more. I'm gonna watch it just to see. But if it's what you're saying, I mean that's two independent people tell me basically the same thing. I mean, it is what it is at this point. But speaking of Shiah, man, did you hear the news of him, probably being cast in a Marvel movie?
I would love it, man. Like I really would. I don't know who I would want him to be. I heard
it's gonna be XMen. He's gonna be an XMen somewhere. So we don't know
him being Iceman, which would be cool. Like Omega level. People don't realize it. Omega level mutant, man. Like
that'd be dope.
Like see him like go crazy, do something and like fucking freeze the whole world.
I don't know, man. If I look at Shia LaBeouf, dude, I picture Gambit for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know.
I could see him being Gambit for sure.
That's just me. And I know what's his name. What's the guy's name that wants to be Gambit so bad?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum wants to be Gambit.
But he was cast.
Huh?
So he was cast. Like the movie just never got made.
Yeah. Because he was pushing for it. I mean, I could see him too, but I don't know. Just Shia LaBeouf has that.
See, Channing with me was always like, I don't see him pulling off the accent with Channing.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. I just couldn't see him pulling off the accent, but I think Channing had the look, just not the accent, and maybe not even the look because
he's real clean cut, dude.
Yeah,
and Shia LaBeouf is more like down and dirty and rough and tumble, which is what Gambit is,
Yeah. What's up? Hey, what's up, Robert? How you doing, brother? Welcome. Yeah, man, we're gonna. I could see him being Gambit. I think Iceman would be interesting. Gambit's not. I mean, Iceman is not my go-to pick. It's my interesting one. Like it's the out of nowhere one where it's just kind of like, yeah. Like if you hear Shia's playing Iceman in a movie, you're like, oh shit, like Iceman. That's a big get for a character that hasn't gotten the love in movies.
Well, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, do you use him on that? Oh, look! Robert said, "AK Creeper." We were just talking about that, Robert.
That's only me.
I saw the Tax Collector, and he didn't have the greatest review of it. And Robert, my buddy, who told me the same thing, he didn't have the greatest review of it either.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if he's saying the same thing. Shia was the main takeaway, man. If you want to see it for Shia, it's just you're not gonna see him for very long.
Do it for Shia.
Yeah, man, I like Shia a lot. And after seeing him as Creeper, I wouldn't mind seeing him as like a villain or an anti-hero. I saw some people say maybe Moon Knight for that series they have coming. I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting.
Dude, him as Moon Knight?
Yeah, that was another rumor.
That'd be nice, but I'm hearing Keanu Reeves on Moon Knight a lot. But I mean, that's obviously what everybody's saying. But
see, where Shia's not one where I'm like, oh, I need him to be a big character. You get Keanu, bro, you gotta put him as a big character. Like, yeah, not in a TV show because that's gonna be a series, I believe. Moon Knight. You put him as the main character, and you put him as the lead in the movie. You make him I don't know, I can't think of anything.
Doctor Strange or Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man,
yeah,
like one of those.
I'm pretty sure he was even rumored for Doctor Strange at one point, I think. Because it was like Ethan Hawke, Jared Leto, I think Keanu, and then Joaquin.
Can you imagine like a Jared Leto as Iron Man, dude? Like,
oh, that'd be weird.
I don't know.
Well, we're getting him as Morbius. I don't know. I know it's not technically the same universe, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into before we jump into the UFC stuff, the juiciness of the show. I want to just shout out Fernando Tatis Jr. for the San Diego Padres.
Oh, we were talking about this today too, man.
Man, good on you, man. The only problem I had is that he did have a little half-hearted apology. Don't do that. You go out there, you hit that grand slam. Everybody else said it was throw a better pitch. If you don't want me to swing at the 3-0 pitch, throw a better pitch. If it's not written down, I don't give a damn about it.
Yeah, I mean, oh shit. Yeah, I mean, I've been going back and forth with this, and my buddy Robert can attest to it. Like, I hate unwritten rules, man. I just don't like them. I feel like they're like antiquated, and it's from an old game, and the game needs to change, and like the showboating and stuff. Like, let them have fun, man. Let them do a bad toss, and then at the end, or even for the All-Star game, you get the best bad toss of the first half or something. Something cool to make it fun. And so when I saw this, I was like, man, I don't see anything wrong with it, dude. If you're on 3-0 count and you're up that much, don't make that pitch. Don't give up the homer. And I think Jack Flaherty, who's a top pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, said the same thing. Colin McHugh said the same thing. Johnny Bench said the same thing, which is Hall of Famer and probably the best catcher ever. Johnny Bench said the same thing. But on the flip side of that, man, and I was watching, I think it was Bill Ripken on FS1 or something like that with the other Robert Flores, not the one that's in our comments, but the other Robert Flores from ESPN, and they were talking about the relationships in the game, and so there's two coaches on the Padres that worked for almost a decade, one for almost a decade in the Rangers organizations up until recently. And one of them worked with the coach from the Rangers, as a coach for the Rangers right now. And so they're just trying to keep it, I guess, professional. They're trying to keep it friendly. Like, they're not trying to run it up and make their guy look bad that helped them come up through organizations to get the shot at the job that they have now as well. So that's why they were upset about it too. So you see what I'm saying? So that's where I'm like, okay, I get that too. Like this guy Fernando Tatis, he's a great player, and Bill Ripken was right too, man. That ball that he hit, dude, I think it was an opposite field and it was on a line, dude. It was crazy. It was an awesome home run grand slam.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the coaches got to be like, okay, we have to keep professional because this guy helped me out, and I might need him in the future. He might need me, whatever. And Fernando Tatis doesn't know all that. I mean, maybe he does know, maybe he doesn't, but I doubt he cares about where his coaches played before, where his coaches coached before, or what relationships they have. So that's why I'm kind of like in the middle on it. Like I get it. Like from a player standpoint, don't give up that 3-0 bomb grand slam. And from the coach's standpoint, I'm like, okay, man, we don't need to like run the score up on my buddy that I've worked with for a decade,
Yeah. I guess that's a point. That's a point. My thought process is why, and I think it's McHugh that said it. You have 3-0. Why are you going to reward the pitcher with a free strike? Especially if it's right down the middle the way that ball was, or basically right in the sweet spot. There's no point of it. Like that's on. What's up, John? What's up, John Pierce? Thank you for popping in and saying hi. Thank you for joining in, man. I think I'm gonna go ahead and continue my point. I believe that there's no point in getting mad at Tatis for doing what he did. I think he didn't do anything crazy. He didn't showboat after he hit the grand slam. He hit the grand slam, did his walk, and that was it. All right, there you are. You're back. I was saying, I don't believe that.
We got a John Pierce who popped in and say hello.
Yeah, man. He's part of the Brandon Brigade. Appreciate you joining in, brother.
Appreciate you.
We usually talk. We were actually talking a little bit during the fights, like going back and forth.
Oh, nice.
But with Tatis, man, like it's not like I didn't see anything wrong. Like it would have been different. I would have had not a problem, but I would have understood. You know me. I like the showboating. I'm all about the showboating. I like go out there, be a personality. Get your name out there. But he didn't go out there and showboat. He did. He hit the grand slam, did his walk, and then went back in. Now it was today's thing that was a little bit of a show off, and I still loved it. When he stole third, up a few runs. Which is, that's more of it. See, that's an unwritten rule I've heard is, you don't steal third when you're up. You don't steal bases when you're up by like set amount of points. I've heard that one. Yeah, I've heard that one.
I've never heard the Robert. If you're still in here.
Yeah, if you're still here, Robert. But I've heard of that. I've never heard of you don't swing at a 3-0 pitch.
Well, it's interesting they talked about because I think they're away. They're not home. They're away. So you're at the bottom of the inning. So who's to say how many runs they're going to score at the bottom half on their side, at the home side? So
and get a walk off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but it's 7. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But as far as the stealing goes, man, if it's for me, man, I don't care, man. Like, what are you supposed to do? And I think I found a Twitter post when I think it was last year when we were up 16-1 on the Orioles and Jordan went grand slam on them to make it a 20-1 on them.
Oh yeah. I remember
So
that
I'm
game.
like,
Hell yeah.
Oh look, see, Robert's saying it is a unwritten rule that you don't steal when you're up by a certain amount of runs. And Robert played in college at North Lake, so here in Texas.
If you steal when you're up by a certain amount of runs, are you going to get beamed the next one?
Maybe not you. Maybe one of your teammates. But I'm still waiting on the email from Robert for all the unwritten rules.
Okay.
There's just so many unwritten rules at this point.
See, dude, I hate the idea of beating somebody, getting back at somebody for doing something. You get you have the power to throw a 90-mile-per-hour ball at someone's and it's just severely hurt them. I had a problem with that more because whenever that stuff happened with Joe Kelly, Correa, I think Correa did the thing I probably would have done is just stare that dude down hey,
well, dude,
you want to go?
After that home run, they threw behind Manny Machado, dude.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
He's like $100-something million player for them, and he threw a 93-mile-an-hour fastball behind him that was supposed to hit him, and he missed him.
Yeah, in my eyes, if you throw the ball at me, I'm charging the mound because I'm gonna make sure every pitcher know. Even I don't care how many games I get, because every pitcher's gonna know you don't throw the ball at me. I'm not shit out of you.
You could throw it at my 8 other teammates that I have to bat against, but
you throw it at me. I'm not gonna shit out you. And not only it's not gonna end on the mound whenever they outpull us. Like if I don't get my licks in on the field, I'll meet you in the parking lot. Like we're gonna box.
I watch MMA. We're gonna fight MMA style.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, dude. Like you don't just go around beating people. I don't know. That's my biggest problem with it. But unwritten rules. If you're for them, against them, let us know in the comments. I'm all good with it. Also, just a quick update on the playoffs going down, guys. John Pierce said, "Just don't throw at the head." That's the most important thing. I actually 100% agree. Don't throw at the head. Like that's extremely dangerous.
Also, real quick, I don't know. This is 5 minutes ago, but Twins right-handed pitcher Kenta Maeda is 3 outs away from a no-hitter against the Brewers.
Well, not anymore. You just said it.
Well, that was 5 minutes ago from MLB Network. That's
might be over. Might be over now. But yeah, so a quick little rundown of the playoffs from this past week. The NBA playoffs started this week. First started with the play-in game. Man, the Grizzlies fought, bro. The Grizzlies fought against the Blazers. I was kind of hoping the Grizzlies would win just because I love Ja. But the Blazers do.
I mean, he's gonna be coming soon, dude. You know, he's
for sure. I
like his game.
Yeah, man. So yesterday we had the Mavericks versus the Clippers. The Clippers took the game over from the Mavs. We had that BS ejection because first of all, the first technical foul shouldn't have even happened because it was all ball. So there's that, and then it just sucks that the game got taken out of the refs' hands. I mean, out of the players' hands, and when the refs do that, man, it bothers the shit out of me like so bad, man. I hate it. I hate when
John Pierce is talking about the NHL playoffs.
Oh, that too. Well, yeah, the NHL players are going on. I wish I watched more hockey because it's one of those things that I really wish I could do it. Like I could talk about it because I don't watch it very often.
Yeah,
but, I'm a Penguins fan.
I can't watch it if I can't go to it, man. I think I got into it one year in the playoffs, but then I can't go watch it, so it just feels weird not to be able to go somewhere.
Yeah, I'm hoping that JJ's able to bring a team to Houston. That'd be nice. Because I know he was talking about it, bringing a team possibly here to Houston. If it does, JJ.
JJ what? Oh, he wants one. Yeah, he wants one because he's from up north,
and he wants to get. I heard that he was actually going to meet up with some people.
Oh, really? That's pretty.
I don't know if anything came of it. He probably had some meetings, but I don't know if anything came of it.
I think Tillman has the rights to him or something like that. I don't know.
Should bring one over here, man. But yeah, so we had the Mavericks and Clippers going at it. Clippers take the win, game 1. All these games are going to happen in game 2 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So Celtics taking out the 76ers. Taking game 1.
That's actually a close series, man. I was watching that game, and that's actually a close series. But man,
surprisingly,
the Celtics are stacked, man. I mean, they got everybody. But you know what? Haywood is going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks or something like that.
Hayward. Yeah, that's right.
So Gordon Hayward's going to be out because he sprained his ankle or something like that. But I mean, that's a good series, man.
Then you have the very first blowout of the playoffs with the Raptors blowing out the Nets. That's probably going to be a sweep, most likely. The Raptors are like surprisingly deep. No, I wasn't expecting them to be that great.
Oh, look, John wants to
yes.
So yeah,
we'll talk about it.
Alec talked a little bit about it. I'll talk a little bit about it too. At the end, there was somebody posted on Twitter where it was Luka, giving the opponent like it was basically like being funny, saying, Luka has good sportsmanship. Look at him giving props to the opponent as he gives the 4, and it was him shaking the hands of the ref because that was the opponent he had, man. You can't, like Alec mentioned, you can't take the game out of the player's hands, man, especially like that. And the thing was, it was a technical. It was a second technical that he got.
Mm-hmm.
So he had already gotten the first technical.
And the first technical shouldn't have happened because it wasn't. Like, it wasn't a technical. He had all, I think he was arguing with the ref, but he had all ball, man. Like,
yeah, dude.
He hit all ball, and you didn't call it. And you called a foul.
I'm also gonna put this on the bubble, man, and not having a raucous crowd to kind of drown out some of the words and some of the passion that the players have that the refs can hear now. So that's what I put it on,
man.
That's what I put it on, man. But it was definitely a weak rejection, man. A weak ejection. I wanted to see that game play out. That game was tight. Like Alec mentioned before we got on. Excuse me. I don't know, man. I think the Mavs would have probably taken that first game, and that would have been big, man. Because now
it's a much different series.
Now they're ahead. Yeah, now they're ahead. The Clippers have some pressure on them. They're supposed to be the guys that are supposed to be running people over because of Kawhi and Paul George. So it just changes the whole series, man, just by that weak ass ejection, man. That's what I'm saying. Like the Mavs played against the Clippers, but they also played against the refs.
Yeah, and then you had the the first overtime game of the playoffs with the Jazz and the Nuggets going at it. Who would have thought Donovan Mitchell going for what, 57?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yes, he's good, but he's like the only option.
He's the only thing they got.
Dude, the dude Murray from Denver, man, his game is nice, dude. His game is nice.
Yeah,
he doesn't back down. He was going basically 1-for-1 with Mitchell. He's smart, dude. He has a high basketball IQ, man. So that's too, man.
Yeah, the Nuggets are one of those teams, or one of the teams I do not want to see in the playoffs because they're just so incredibly talented. And the only thing is, like, they're young, so you can probably get a few rookie mistakes. Yeah, you can get a few rookie mistakes, but I think this Jazz team, I know they expected more with Mike Conley coming in, but I think Mike Conley is just a step behind what he used to be. Yeah. So Donovan Mitchell is still kind of doing it by himself, but you never know, man. Like, that could eventually be a team. If they can, make some noise in the playoffs, that might be a player in the free agency saying, man, I want to go play with Donovan. Because the dude's a star, man. I hope he's able to do more because I wasn't expecting that from – I wanted the Jazz the most in the playoffs because I always feel like the Rockets can do some damage against the Jazz. But I was like, thinking back, I was like, I'm kind of glad we didn't get him now, especially after today's game.
I like Donovan Mitchell not only because he's good and he has a great game. He's super fast. But his whole nickname, man, the Spider-Man or whatever, and then his shoes have the Spider-Man, comic book feel to them. So absolutely. I don't know. I like that part of it too.
All right, and then we had the first game today. Today was Magic getting the upset over the Bucks. We'll see what goes there. I'm pretty sure the Bucks are gonna bounce back. If they don't, everyone's gonna be looking at Giannis. I'm gonna say that everyone's gonna be looking over there.
But I think last year they had a lot of the same stuff. I think they stumbled a couple times in a couple series, and they always came back.
It's a surefire way to beat them. You close out the floor. You clog up the floor, the inside. You make them beat you with threes, and the Rockets showed that you can mount a comeback very quick against a team like the Bucks if you can if you force them to hit threes, and if they don't hit them. It's just the deal. Also, the Heat going up on the Pacers. I'm picking the Heat in this. I think the Heat are a sleeper team in the East. Rockets blowing out the Thunder. Love to see it.
That was close for like half of a quarter, and then the Rockets just pulled away, dude. It was amazing, dude. Because at the beginning too, when it was close, they were missing those shots, man. And then when those shots started falling, and they were wide open too, man. They were wide open in the corners. I don't know, man. Overall, it was a great game.
Yeah, that, and they were going inside, man. They weren't settling for just threes. They were. Eric Gordon was finding his way in the middle, which I was happy to see him back out there.
If we get this Gordon for the playoffs, man, they're gonna be trouble. But not only that, you got to give them props on the defensive side, man. Their switch game was on point today. They were leaving guys open that they wanted to leave open, that they wanted to let them shoot, and it was just good, man. Yeah. Roberts standing way too fast for Oklahoma. And the excuse me, the thing is too, they got Adams, dude. They're just not taking advantage of Adams. They just don't know how to use him to slow the game down. They
don't know how to use him, and also, when you force the ball out of his hands, it's not like he's an offensive weapon. He's gonna get you an easy layup and stuff. That's his game. So if you can force the ball out of his hands, pass it to one of these guys that aren't as good. I think I can't even name some of the guys on this Oklahoma State Thunder team because there's nobody there anymore. You force them to beat you. CP3 can't do it all on his own. So I think the Rockets are looking pretty good. Yeah. They were fronting Adams a lot. Absolutely. They were doubling him a few times. Not even like doubling him like when he's in the post. Like talking like as soon as he got the ball, he got two people on him. He has to get rid of the ball quick. So, all
Mhm.
right, John. Appreciate you dropping in for a little bit, man.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
And then update. Blazers are up on the Lakers, 62-58. Third quarter just started. A lot of game to play. I might give you some updates to drop.
The Blazers, for all they did and for everything Damian Lillard did, I mean, I don't see them beating the Lakers, man.
I think they have a chance.
I don't think they have a chance. I'm calling it right now.
I think they have a chance, especially when you're going to have Anthony Davis probably not show up for a few fourth quarters.
Okay, let's say they lose, right? Let's say they lose because I think they're going to lose. And yeah, you're right. Maybe AD doesn't show up and he gets a pouty face on, whatever. But let's say they lose. Let's say the Blazers lose.
Yeah.
I mean, what is Damian Lillard still this darling guy? This oh man, this guy's so good. He always loses in the playoffs, man. He always loses. He just, I mean, everybody's so hype on Damian Lillard, and he just squeaked into the playoffs to get run out by the Lakers in 4. Maybe they're talking about a gentleman's sweep. Maybe 5 games.
I love Damian Lillard. I hate him because he's knocked us out in the playoffs twice. I love him though. I think he's a fantastic talent. CJ McCollum is a really good Robin, but there is something to say about. I think he just doesn't match up. He can't pull a team to become a juggernaut. He's always that underdog, and I think that's probably going to be his role for the rest of his career. Is the underdog that can come in here and steal a series from you. Because even though he hasn't won the playoffs as much, he has those signature key shots.
Moment.
I'm talking about, yeah, and I'm not just talking like, oh, he got the or he got the go ahead. No, this motherfucker has buzzer beating playoff series ending shots. Like,
he has ice in his veins, dude.
Fuck, man, I respect him because he's gonna stay with the Blazers. But a part of me wants to be like, fuck, man, I wish you would go to another team so you can do this to bigger competition.
Well,
in a finals series, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but my thing is he's a Doug Flutie generation. My thing is that he's not great, man. He's not great because I think what you were searching for is he doesn't make his team better.
Yeah.
I think somebody put out there like, who are the players that you can put with 4 role players in the NBA and they're still going to get to the playoffs? They're going to win, high 40s, low 50s and still make it to the playoffs. You're talking about LeBron. You're talking about James Harden. You're talking about Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not one of those guys. He's not one of those guys. And I think that's because he doesn't make his teammates better. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's been in the league so long and he has those game winners, those ice in his veins. But he just doesn't make his team better, man. And I think he kind of has the same like Westbrook had for a little bit when he was with OKC, where he has the capacity to do it all, and he averaged a triple-double for the year, but he wasn't making the team better, And I think kind of that's where Damian Lillard is at right now.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens in this playoff series, man. I think it'll go 6.
I think it's going 5 max. 5 max. If they go 6... All right, let's friendly wager right now. If they go 6, what would I have to do or watch? How about that? We give each other something to watch.
I'll find something. We'll put a pin in it, but we understand we'll put a pin in what we choose and we'll announce it here. But for sure we will have a little friendly wager.
All right, real quick, Maeda's going back out for the last 3 outs.
All right, good luck, Maeda.
I'm watching it. That's why I'm looking down, guys. I'm watching it.
We all love no-nos. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this this good stuff. The good stuff. We had UFC 252, and I'm just gonna pull up right quick, guys, the performance bonuses because none of them, I don't believe, or one was on the main card. The rest of them were not on the main card. Actually, they only handed out 2 performance bonuses and then a fight of the night. So give me 1 second while I pull that up. And the fight of the night happened right off the bat. It was the first fight. It was Kai. I believe it's Kai Kai Kamaka versus Tony Kelly. Fight of the night right here. Kai Kamaka gets the win. This is a great fight, dude. This is probably the only.
I can watch it.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the prelim card fights that I would tell you to watch. Good back and forth. You think Kamaka's gonna win, he's gonna knock out Tony Kelly. Kelly comes back in the second, and then both guys just go all out in the third. Man, fantastic.
Wow. So like a slobber back and forth.
Absolutely, a well-earned fight for this one. And there's actually a video someone showed me of Tony Kelly. Not showed me, but it was on like Instagram or something. Tony Kelly getting a call saying that he's gonna get $50,000.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Him. Because absolutely, man. Interesting to see where both these guys go. I forgot what division this was. I think this was flyweight. I don't know. I wish it was right here, but it's not. But yes, that's probably the first one. That's the one that I wanted to mention, and then the other performance bonus went to Verna Jandiroba. She had a very nice armbar win over Felice Herring. Big time.
Yeah, I saw that. I feel like Herring doesn't have a lot left in the tank, man. She's one of the semi-pioneers of women's MMA. She's getting up to an age, and she's been in a lot of wars herself. Just didn't look good, but yeah, I mean, well deserved for
Jandiroba, man. It looked good, dude. She went like immediately for because I think Felice was ready to stand, and Jandiroba took her straight to the ground, got that armbar on her, and made quick work. Broken.
First pitch, single up the middle on a high chopper.
Oh man, it's so hard to get a no hitter, man.
Damn, dude.
And then we're not going to talk about the fight yet, but Daniel Pineda got the second and last performance of the night for his upset win. I think he was the biggest underdog, if I'm not mistaken. He was the biggest underdog on the card against Herbert Burns.
That was Houston's own, right?
Yeah, Houston's own Daniel Pineda. So we'll talk about that more when we get there. But so the first storyline that I was able to drum up was Mirab Javashvili, getting the dominant win over John Dodson. Now, however, my question, we're not going to talk about the fight. My question is Javashvili legit?
Yes, he is, man. He's been legit. He was out because he was hurt for a while. Then he came back, and he's been on a tear. And nobody wants to fight this guy, man. This guy is tough as nails. He's smart. He has awesome wrestling. He has some power. And you're not, if you're going to fight this guy, going in, it's going to be probably one of the toughest fights of your career. And you're probably not going to come out on the other end with a W. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is the real deal. He's a little bit older. He's smart. He knows what he's doing in there. And for him to beat Dodson like he beat him and just basically nullify everything Dodson was trying to do, and handle his speed. I thought that was gonna be anytime anybody fights Dodson is like, how are they gonna handle his speed? That guy's so fast, man. And he was just able to basically kind of I don't want to say nullify it, because Dodson still had a few bright spots, but he kind of took it away. Like, he kind of made it like it wasn't that big of a deal as it normally is for people. Mm-hmm. And you got to remember, Dodson has a KO victory over TJ Dillashaw because of his speed. So he's good. He's just a veteran. He's been around the game a lot. And for Javashvili, Mirab Javashvili, however you say it.
Javashvili. That's the way I believe they were all saying.
Yeah, he's just a real good, well-rounded fighter, man. He is the real deal, man. He is the real deal. I definitely want to see him fight other fighters. I think this was at 135 or 125. 125.
This is at 120. No, 135.
135.
135, I believe. Let me see. Let me confirm before we move on. Real quick, because I don't want to have the wrong information.
It was at 135.
Is at 135? Okay, yeah. No, so like I thought. Yeah, I agree with you. It was just something. It was the best I can come up with for because everyone knows that John Dodson's not John Dodson anymore. Not the John Dodson of old. Obviously, he can still compete, but he's not he's not that huge name that if you are surprised. pulling for Javascript in this one. I believe he had the win, no
Yeah.
doubt. So the only thing I come up with was, is Javascript really legit? And this is a big win over John Dodson. I would like to see Javascript really get a maybe a top 10 opponent, maybe to see if he's ready for these guys, man.
Well, dude, he's on a 4-fight winning streak dating back to May of last year. He's won 3 in a row this year, starting in February. Then he won in June and now in August. So they're all decisions. So he's not putting the guys away. But I mean, he's winning fairly easily as far as like it's a clear-cut victory for him. It's not up in the air.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you, man. I think the only thing is I do want to see a finish from him. I don't need it, but I would like to see it. You know, it would help really cement this whole is he legit argument. If he got a huge a huge knockout finish, submission finish, I think that's the only thing I'm searching for. Especially like with wrestlers, you look for that because it's not like he's boring, but it is like one of those things that I can't convince. I can't see him main eventing unless he was the champ. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't see him at the moment headlining a fight night or something like that, and I want him to.
He's just he's just not the spicy guy. He's not the
exactly
sexy pick. He's not the throwing flying knees and spinning back kicks. All right, Robert, man, thank you for joining in with us, man, and talking in the comments, man.
Thanks, man. 100%. All right, next topic. So we got Herbert Burns. This is the big upset. Daniel Pineda goes into this fight, taking on a Herbert Burns that weighed in how many pounds overweight? Like
7
pounds overweight. So he didn't make the cut. And to me, this fight, this isn't on short notice. This isn't him coming in on short notice. This is, it's been locked down for a bit. You come in really overweight, and then you come in, you put in a performance that is not horrible in terms of we're banging, but from what I saw, it just he looked like he was done.
He missed you by 3.5 pounds.
Oh, 3.5. So, but it looked like he was done after that first round. Like he looked like he was gassed, and I think so. I'm wondering, is this a fluke loss for Burns, or maybe Burns isn't, is this a fluke loss for Burns, or is this a sign of what's to come for him?
I mean, that's a tough one, man. Both the Burns brothers have a lot of talent. I mean, we've seen it. Whenever you don't make weight, it's usually one of two things. It's one, unprofessionalism, and you don't try hard enough, or you didn't start losing weight until way later in the camp than you should have. I don't think that's what happened here. The second reason why people don't make weight is because of an injury. So if you have an injury and you can't do your road work, which they call road work like running or bike, to do what is it called? Like your cardio to lose weight, then it's more difficult for you to lose weight. So I think that was what happened. He was probably hurt, somewhere along the camp, which didn't allow him to get to an optimum weight to be able to cut. And then he tried to cut, because he is a professional. He tried to cut all the weight, and it really, sapped his energy and sapped his cardio, because his body wouldn't, just didn't react to it. And that's why he was so sluggish. And that's why he got, basically in the position that he got in to be finished, because he didn't have any more energy. He didn't have any more explosiveness, power, all of that was drained. So I don't think that this is more things to come. I just think it's a hard lesson, man. It's a hard lesson to learn. And it's honestly, this is the flip side of that coin with Gilbert Burns, because he'll take any fight, anywhere, anytime. And that mindset is a mindset that won't allow them to pull out of a fight if they're hurt. That same mindset is the same mindset that says, I'm just hurt. I'll power through it. This guy doesn't have anything for me. But the guys at the UFC level, man, they're no joke. They're no joke. And if they have an advantage over you, they're going to capitalize, And that's exactly what happened here, And also props to Pineda for going out there and being tough and being able to to seize it and win. You know, he could have still not been on his level. He could have still not believed in himself and lost the fight, but he didn't. He showed that he's a veteran. He's been around for a while. He knows what he's doing, and he capitalized on it. And now he has a huge scalp on his resume.
Yeah, this was a little tiny hype train that Pineda derailed, if I could say that, because Herbert Burns, he came in, had that flashy knockout via elbow, and then came in, had I believe it was a rear naked choke for his second fight. So you come in, all of a sudden you showing your prowess on the ground and on the feet, and coming against a guy Pineda who is I assume he's a guy who's been around, just hasn't quite gotten the recognition quite there yet, and you have this loss. I don't believe this is a sign of what's to come. I think this is one of those things that maybe he just ran into, he got tired, something happened, we'll figure it out. Pineda was able to get out the win. I will say Burns has a lot of fans, man. I was looking at Twitter while I was watching the fight. There was a lot of people like, oh, Burns is going to come back in the third. He's going to come back in the third. Didn't make it to the third. Yep. There's a lot of believers, man. So I'm wondering what he does in his next fight. Is he able to gut it out and have another flashy KO win, or is he going to come out the way he is? I would say go back to the drawing board, brother, and just heal up. Let yourself get right where you need to be. For sure. All right. Next up, we're frozen real quick. Give us a second. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, guys. Sorry, we have a little technical issues. Wi-Fi isn't good. Wi-Fi doesn't work 100% all the time. There it is. Yep. All right, man. We're going to jump into the next part, which is a really good fight. This is a really good fight. And so we had Biggie Boy Rosenstrike taking on Cigano, Junior Dos Santos. And, dude, this is a really good fight. And I think this is the best I've ever seen Rosenstrike fight. This is the best fight I've seen him fight so far. That 5-round fight against Alistair Overeem, he was getting his ass whooped. Exploded Alistair's face in the last 10 seconds. And then, got bum rushed by Ngannou and got knocked out, as most guys do. I think this is the best I've seen him fight, though. He was much more relaxed, much more patient. Yeah, way more patient than I've seen him before. Not saying that he was overly aggressive in other fights, and because he hadn't got knocked out. I don't think he'd been knocked out until Ngannou.
Well, yeah, but in Ngannou's fight, he was overly aggressive because
you're right.
He was just backing up, just throwing instead of
bum rushed.
Yeah, he could have done other things, like I mentioned. He could have, bear hugged him and got into the clinch with him, to stop his forward momentum, but he was trying to catch Overeem because he thought he could catch him. I mean, not Overeem, I'm sorry, Ngannou. He thought he could catch Ngannou coming in. But and a lot of the times he can, but Ngannou is just a freak of nature, man, with long arms.
He's on a roll, man. He's on a run, and you got to just kind of get out of his way right now.
Yeah.
But with this fight against Junior Dos Santos, I think, and he was taking a lot of hits too. He took some shots from Dos Santos, but was able to eat them. That just shows the power that Ngannou has. Yeah, when you can take a nasty shot like a couple that he took from Dos Santos and still keep going forward. Because, dude, I mean, he got clipped a couple times, and the same thing with Rosenstrike. Rosenstrike ended up, finding his spot in the second round, I believe it was. Found his spot in the second round, got him down. He knocked him out. He knocked him out pretty good. Yeah. So a big win for Rosenstrike. It does seem like Dos Santos might be on his way out, but he might be able to pick up a few wins here and there.
Man, I don't know, man. I mean, the heavyweight division, these guys keep resurrecting their careers just because it's crazy, so thin and shallow. But yeah, you mentioned something that I still have concerns about with Rosenstrike, and that's his defense. He just gets hit way too much for my liking right now, man. Like, especially in the heavyweight division. Yeah, Dos Santos is known for having some power, in his hands, but usually he's having to do either, a combination of punches or you don't see a punch coming. Or even for like Mark Hunt, he did a spinning back kick that knocked him out, that helped get the knockout. So for somebody that has more power, and you can touch Rosenstrike, like let's say he fights Derek Lewis, or somebody like that with power, like with real power, and he gets hit, it's potential for lights out, especially in the heavyweight division, man. They're just so big, they're so powerful. They got those small 4-ounce gloves. So if anything, I'd like to see him maybe fight somebody not at the very top yet, just somebody that he can continue to work on his defense, because he just got hit way too much for my liking.
Yeah, and we'll get to more of the rankings when we get there, because there are rankings have moved around a bit. Rankings have definitely moved around a bit, so we'll get there when we get there. But I'm looking at him, John, just first glance. Not a lot of people above Rosenstrike at the moment. Rosenstrike is tied for 4th with Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis seems to be tied up with Curtis Blades. Jairzinho might just have to wait and just sit back and just maybe go work on that defense, like you said, because there's not really much for him to do at the moment, unless he wants to take a fight that he wants, like a lower fight that he doesn't necessarily need to take.
John Jones, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Maybe he can welcome him. Yeah, maybe welcome John Jones to the. I was actually, and we'll get there later. I was trying to think of guys that would be a good matchup for him. And I'm not talking about like just for John Jones, but a good matchup in terms of it's gonna be a main event somewhere along the line. So it's like I'm trying to find a good fight.
That's a perfect main event right there, dude. That's a perfect
absolutely.
Main event. John Jones versus Jairzinho. Jairzinho coming off of a big knockout, ranked number 4 in the division, and Jones dipping his toes in the heavyweight. And if he beats him, I mean he's an automatic contender.
Absolutely, I agree with you. All right, man. You ready to get to this? This is gonna be loaded.
I'm ready for it, man.
This might be our longest segment ever.
Man, those are big words, because we've had some long segments, man.
We have had some long. All right, not ever, but this is gonna be the longest one of the night for sure. Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Marlon Chito Vera. Hyped. I was hyped like crazy for this fight, man. I thought this was going to be fight of the night, and who knows, maybe it could have been. But it ends prematurely, and I say prematurely because it came down to let me say my whole piece. I say prematurely in terms of that's not. I was expecting, everyone was expecting a knockout, whether it be from Vera or it be from O'Malley. But for it to be an injury, a leg injury that ends up taking them out, obviously that's going to be a disappointment. In terms of, damn, I had so much hype, like I was so ready for this fight. But dude, Marlon Vera looks good. I saw someone put should Dana run back Chito and O'Malley, and I said no. Marlon Vera deserves every right to fight a top ranked opponent. He deserves every right to fight a top 10 guy and show what he's got. This was in the bantamweight division. So the fight against Song was in the featherweight division, if I'm not mistaken. So he dipped his toe in the bantamweight division.
He won that fight too against Song.
And he dips his toe here in the bantamweight division, and I don't know. He derailed the hype train. It might have been the way that most people expected hype train to be derailed, in terms of Johnny Walker getting knocked out the way he did. But it was derailed for the time being, because we're not going to be seeing Sean for a bit, and everyone needs to be talking about Marlon Vera. I was one of those guys. I didn't see the leg kick at first, but when you go back and look at it, and the way that O'Malley stumbles. He might have hit that meniscus. I've had a meniscus injury where like your leg just you step a certain way and your leg just gives out, and that's how it looked. Whenever Sean O'Malley kind of like he looked like he lost his footing. I didn't know. I know people thought he was doing his little crazy stuff, like his unorthodox stuff, but he lost his it's like his leg gave out for a second, and that's how it was when I had that meniscus injury. It was like I would take a step on the stairs and oh shit, like my leg just stopped working for a second. It did, like it doesn't even hurt. Like at least my meniscus, like it didn't hurt. It was just like, oh, that didn't work. Like that's not how that's supposed to go.
It just feels weird.
So, and then I want to bring up Cody Garbrandt, what he said. Not everybody's built for war. And this is the second leg injury that we've had from OMalley. I know Garbrandt's not really one to stop. But
I mean, say what you will, man. He Garbrandt bites down on his mouthpiece and just throws. And if he gets slept, he gets slept. Or if he sleeps he sleeps you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But maybe some guys aren't built for war. And if OMalley's leg keeps, giving out, I don't know if it was the same leg. Was it the same leg?
I don't know. I don't think it is because I think we would have heard more about that it's the same leg. Mm-hmm. But a couple of things, man. A couple of things. It's either you believe that Marlon Vera, caused this injury, or you don't, and that it was either pre-existing or whatever. But man, either way, it's like taking a little bit away from Marlon Vera, and I saw a lot of people getting upset because their boy got beat and how Marlon Vera was being an asshole to him. But I mean, he said it at the end. The immigrant mindset. He said, or something to that nature, and I get it, man. I get it. Like, Vera's been on the grind, dude. He's been on the grind. He's been beating fools, and he hasn't been getting the decision. And he's not a scrub by any stretch. Like he deserves to be at the top. Getting good fights. And for him to be overshadowed by this tall, wiry guy with crazy hair just because he does certain things, or he's flashy and he got one really good knockout or whatever, and he's getting looked over, and he gets the fight. Yeah, man, he's gonna be upset. He's gonna be mad. And especially with all the trash talk that OMalley was doing, and even then after the fight, like OMalley downplays it like it wasn't not a big deal that he lost or whatever after he was doing all that trash talk. Which whatever, they're fighters. I don't care. I like both of them, personally, but I just feel like it was a big win for Vera. The thing that you said about Garbrandt saying that some people aren't built for this, I go back to an Ultimate Fighter where there was a guy that was 6'4", fighting at the 155-pound division.
Oh my God.
And he was this long reach guy, and he was like, he had just gotten into MMA, and then he lost in the Ultimate Fighter, but they gave him a fight at the Ultimate Fighter finale. And in his first fight, man, he's fighting and he goes to throw a leg kick, and the guy checks it, and his leg breaks in half.
Yeah.
And that's and I mean, it took him literally like 4 or 5 years to recover because his leg shattered, dude. Like, it basically shattered. And that's one of those things where, like, yeah, you can have some freak body, but you can also, it can be too much, and too much stress on the body. And one of those things in that instance, the guy's name is Corey Hill, by the way, if you want to go back and watch that leg kick.
No, I'm good.
But in that instance, like, Corey Hill started late, so he didn't have the conditioning in the legs of, since he was a teen, kicking the bag or kicking the shin or whatever. And so he started in his 20s or something, and he just didn't have the conditioning. His legs weren't built for that at the time, or at that stage in his life. The same thing with OMalley. OMalley's tall, man. He's like, isn't he like 6 feet? And he's fighting at 135, right?
135, yep.
Oh, he's like close to 6 feet fighting at 135, man. I mean, that's, not enough. I mean, he's just really stretched out. I'm not saying this is body type or what. I'm just saying, like, that also has something to do with it where, maybe like Garbrandt said, he's not built for hard fights or leg kicks or whatever. If it is a leg that he keeps getting messed up, then maybe that's true. Maybe he needs to put on weight. Maybe he needs to go to a different weight division, not cut as much weight or something. But either way, it's I have not seen a lot of injuries like his coming from a leg kick like that. So something's up with that.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I agree too. It's the wiry look, man. It's and people were mentioning it. I kind of brushed it off, but people were like showing the video of the weigh-in when he was flexing and he looked like he was shaking, and I was like, he's made weight. I'm not gonna. It's like the kind of thing where, like, with Jose when he made
135.
Yeah, when he made 135, he looked like shit, and then we saw him fight, and then the second fight, I was like, I don't care how he looks, he's proven that he can make the weight. That's how I kind of felt about OMalley. Like, okay, he's shaking there, but he's made the weight before. I don't know if maybe it was a little bit harsher this time around. because he was shaking, and it wasn't even like very bad. It was just kind of like you could notice it. Like, so there's that, and some people's bones are a little brittler than others.
They're talking about he needs to stop smoking weed and drink some milk. He needs some milk.
Some guys kick really fucking hard.
And it was just a bad look for his hype train to get derailed the way it did, man. Like,
it's delayed.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there, man. People are gonna gravitate towards him. He has a very, like I said, the thing that he did afterwards, where he posted something with two girls around him, and him saying, I'm all right, or something like that. There'll be more. Something, I don't know what he did, but people thought it was super cool. So he's a super cool dude. He has his own look, with his hair and stuff, and he's always gonna have fans. So he'll be all right. He'll bounce back, and maybe he'll bounce back at a higher weight. Because he might be out for a while. I think they said they did MRIs and he did have some ligament damage, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll go back and check.
All right, we're not talking about Sean O'Malley no more. Chito Vera, what's next? He is ranked now. He is ranked at number 14.
And if you think about it, man, he should be ranked higher, man, because he won his last fight. He should be on like a 4 or 5 win streak or something, because he hadn't lost before that.
He's still right below Song. If that's I know that's probably biting at him, but he is still below Song. But this is our favorite division, and this just shows why it can change at a moment's notice.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting. I picked Sean O'Malley in this fight. I thought it was going to be a banger. I picked Sean, and that would have moved him up to top 10. Not top 10, but would have earned him a top 10 opponent. Now, but I'm gonna say the exact same thing for Marlon Vera. I think he earned a top 10 opponent. There's Dominic Cruz, there's a Rob Font, there's a Sun Sao. I know he doesn't want a Sun Sao because the Sun Sao is coming off of a loss. Jimmy Rivera, who's coming off of a win.
Yeah, but that's such a long way down for him, man, to fight a guy like. Where is Jimmy Rivera ranked at?
So Jimmy Rivera's at 7.
Yeah, for him, and Vera's at 14.
Yeah, what about Javascript, who is ranked at 12?
Now that is a good fight, dude. I would love to see that fight right there.
Someone who's a no nonsense kind of guy going up against the Javascript, who wants to grind into you for 3 rounds for 15 minutes, and a guy who is not going to let that happen.
Dude, that would be. So I'm thinking Javascript. I'm also thinking, honestly, man, and I bet you Vera wouldn't say no to this. Run it back with Song Yadong, man. Run it back with him, and kind of push it and say we'll get a real clear cut winner this time.
Dude, that's a co-main event right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do that one or do the Marab Stadishvili, and you're good to go right there, man.
Absolutely. All right, man. I'm excited to see where Marlon Vera goes, and I'm hoping for
this division is so stacked, dude.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping for a speedy recovery from Sean. That's he is a guy that brings eyes to the sport. And I think that, the bantamweight division does need a guy like that, a very out there kind of guy. So we'll see what happens going forward. But let's go ahead and move on to the main event, man. Great main event. The only thing I was upset about was it sucks that the 2 eye pokes happened. It took away, and they pissed me off because I was looking at anime Twitter, which I shouldn't do. But there's guys saying I something about like Stipe had to cheat to win, and I was like,
oh man,
like he didn't put his finger in his eye on purpose, just like Cormier didn't put his finger in Stipe's eye on purpose. They're fucking accidental. One just happened to be worse than the other. Like, can we not talk about that? But unfortunately, it happened so early into the fight, and Cormier mentioned he couldn't see. Like, you have to take it into account, but it was a good fight, man.
Well, dude. First of all, I'm 99% sure they weren't done on purpose, both of them. But one of them was worse than the other, and now we know the extent of it. It was a detached retina.
Yeah,
detached retina, which is a huge deal, man. Like, if it's me or you and we have a detached retina, dude, we're getting surgery, and we have a patch over our eye right away. And this guy fought for like, what was it, 3 more rounds or 2 more rounds with the detached retina, basically. So it's very dangerous to fight with a detached retina. A detached retina is dangerous by itself, and I'm talking about from a losing your eyesight perspective. So it did have an effect on the fight. What I will say about the fight, a couple things. At the end of the second round, man, I mean, DC was saved. He was saved by the bell. He was knocked out right there. That was shades of the second fight. The ending of how the second fight happened. And then secondly, I mean, it just goes back to the whole thing that I tell you about when you start talking about retirement. You're not all there, man. You're not all there. And the reason I say that is because I did not see a lot of difference in DC's game. I feel like the second fight he dominated for a majority of the fight, and then Stipe
broke him down.
Yeah, he figured it out and he adjusted, and that adjustment got him a knockout in his championship bag. And so Stipe is like, great, I know the equation, I figured it out. And DC didn't counter that. DC didn't go in there and say, I'm going to use some of my wrestling, I'm going to change it up.
Man.
And so that tells me that he wasn't all there, because that's not normally what DC does. Like DC basically, how do they say, don't hang your hat on what you've done in the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what he was doing. He was hanging his hat on that, saying like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do the same thing. And
on that one knockout.
And no, like he was like, I'm just gonna do the same thing. And Stipe didn't really figure me out. He got lucky. But no, Stipe figured you out, man. Stipe figured you out. And the thing is, on top of that, man, like I give Stipe mad respect, man. Like I like both of these guys a lot. I do. But I got to give Stipe a lot of respect, because he was able to do this also in a smaller cage. And the smaller cage actually benefits DC. And Stipe was moving around. He was cutting angles. He was getting out of bad positions. And he was just a better fighter that night, man. He was just a better fighter. Yep. And it showed. It showed. Now,
sure.
If DC's eye doesn't get jacked up like that, is it the same outcome? I say probably. Only because, again, DC didn't change, man. He didn't change his game plan. He didn't do anything differently. He didn't have any new tricks in his bag, and he showed his age basically at that point.
Yeah. What I would have done, you have an eye injury. The last thing you want to be doing is you want to be standing up with somebody, man.
Dude, seriously.
So he should have went in and wrestled and could have gotten the win, even though, and he looked good wrestling Stipe in that first round. Stipe was able to get away, but that doesn't mean you give up on the wrestling. Another thing, I think he started getting tired at the end. I've never seen Cormier that tired before.
Yeah, man, that's another thing that I saw too, and that's also, to me, it's either age or it's
he's done mentally.
Yeah, like he didn't push himself in the lead up, because he thought he had it in the bag, or he's just tired, he's older, he knows this is his last fight. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I've never seen DC like that, man. And the thing about it is that you can tell in the fight, in the first few rounds, that he was kind of like measuring himself and his energy, and he wasn't, really going 100%. Like look at this fight, man, and then go back and look at the Gustafsson fight, and that Gustafsson fight, he was like, determined, I'm gonna beat this dude. And in this fight, he wasn't that guy anymore. And it's weird. It's weird because I never thought I'd see a DC like this. But then again, we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled by him. He's such a great talent, man. And we got to see him later on, because we didn't really get a lot of his prime in MMA at the highest level, because in his prime he was barely getting into MMA, because he did wrestling for so long.
Yeah.
And we got to see the 35, 36, 37-year-old DC. Now imagine if DC had gone straight from the first Olympics in like the 2003 Olympics or something, and gone straight into, or 2004 Olympics and gone straight into MMA. We would have seen a different version of DC, man. But I'm happy we got what we got. We got a 2-division champion. Nobody can take that away from him. He was better than 99% of every light heavyweight and 99% of every heavyweight. And even then, he still has a win over Stipe. But he will now go down as he's still an all-time great, man. I would say he's legit top 5 greatest fighters of all time.
Mount Rushmore of heavyweights.
Definitely Mount Rushmore of heavyweights, man. Right now you're looking at, Fedor and Stipe are up there probably eye to eye. So you got like 1A and 1B, and Stipe still said he wants to fight, which was very eye opening for me. And then you have DC right there, right next to him, and then people fighting fourth.
Who's it? Teddy Roosevelt.
I don't know, man. At heavyweight, you're looking at like a Nogueira, maybe a Crow Cop.
Okay.
Maybe even Kane, kind of. I don't know. Maybe Randy Couture too. Randy Couture's probably up there too. I don't know.
I had somebody because I remember I told you about that debate I had, and the question was the greatest. Who is the greatest of all time in heavyweight? And my opponent said Randy Couture. I said Stipe. He gave a good argument, but I did win.
Yeah, I mean Randy Couture is
opponents.
Randy Couture is good, but he saw a weak champion, and he was a weak champion in what's his name, Tim Sylvia.
Yeah,
and then whenever he got into it with the super heavyweights, which is Brock Lesnar trying to cutting weight to make 265, he had trouble because he was undersized. So you got to give the man props for fighting as an undersized heavyweight, as a way undersized. You're talking about he was at 225, and that's like 40-pound difference from Brock Lesnar, maybe more on fight night. And but you give him props, but again, he didn't have the names that Stipe has, or the names that even DC has,
Yeah, he was the name. He was the guy in UFC to start it out, but it's just the talent that he had to fight at the time. It doesn't even stand up to the amount of talent that like Stipe. Like when I saw Stipe's resume, bro, like holy shit, like that's great.
It's a who's who. The only thing is that some of those guys are past their prime, or whatever. But still, it's the who's who.
Reading off you're reading off through the UFC's Hall of Fame.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. That's why I told you, man. Whoever wins this fight is going to be the GOAT at heavyweight or close to it. Because Fedor is always going to be up there, man. Fedor had a crazy undefeated run, and he wasn't fighting tomato cans. He was fighting legit fighters, and he was just never able to be beaten until he got old and slow.
Sometimes it's about the wins, man. Sometimes it's about who you beat, man.
Exactly, man. So I don't know, man. It was a good night, man. I'm glad it ended that way. The trilogy ended that way. Those guys, put it all out there, and I mean, DC could have given up twice, man. After the second round, he could have just whatever, and then after he got eye poked, he could have just whatever, and he did, man. He gave the fans a great fight. Credit to Stipe again. Stipe is a great heavyweight fighter, and the thing is that Stipe doesn't do a lot of things great. He just does a lot of little things really good. Like keeping distance, like pumping his jab. Finding holes and exploiting them. And it's funny because I got a chance to see Stipe fight early in his career when he came to Houston, and he fought, I think it was Joey Beltran in that fight card. And they were hyping him up so much, dude. They were hyping him up so much. He's the next Crow Cop because he's half Croatian or something. And he would come out with the Crow Cop shorts with the Croatian flag on them.
Thank God he stopped.
And he didn't finish Joey Beltran, I think, but it was a bloody fight. And I was like, man, this is the guy that they're talking about. That's the next Crow Cop, and he couldn't finish Joey Beltran, who's a light heavyweight going up to heavyweight. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really think a lot of him, man, but he's put a great career, man. He's had a great career so far. I wouldn't have doubted him if he would have retired. But somebody asked him about Ngannou, and he said he'll fight him too. He don't care.
Hold on, whoa, slow your horses, slow your horses. So, before we move on to Stipe, I mean, we just got to give a shout out to Daniel Cormier, man, putting a hell of a career. He gave it all in his final fight. That's the way that's the way you want to go out. You want to go out putting it all on the line. He could have said, you know what, I can't see. I'm done with this fight. Who cares? I'm not fighting after this anyways. But he stayed with it, stood with the guy, man. In my opinion, won that fourth round. It was a very close fourth round, but it was a win in my opinion. I did have it tied 2-2 going into that fifth. My brother had it 3-1. I didn't blame him for it. I could see it, but I think I believe he rocked Stipe a little bit in that fourth round. But it was good. I'm happy for Cormier. It's not like he's going away. We're gonna see him around still doing the we'll probably see him for the next pay-per-view, which is Adesanya versus Costa, and I can't wait to hear him scream out when one of those guys gets knocked out.
Well, depending on how his eye's doing, man, if you can actually see the fight.
Hey man, we were predicting. I predicted the same as you, a double retirement. We didn't get that from Stipe, and then I didn't see that quote, but to see someone ask him about Ngannou, and he says, "Let's do it." I'm excited, man. Like, I'm really excited because this will be a rematch. Stipe won the first fight. Could this turn into a trilogy? Will this man have two like GOAT trilogies in his career?
If he does, man, that just again goes in how great Stipe is. And I don't know, man. Like they kept asking him in the post fight, is he gonna retire? Or is he gonna fight again? Or is he gonna keep fighting or not? And I guess he got frustrated with it, and that's when he said, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight. I think he said in November or something like that he was ready to go again.
Yeah.
And they specifically said Ngannou, and he said, yeah, he doesn't care. Like whoever they want to put in front of him, he's ready to fight again. He doesn't care. So I thought that was cool of him as far as, obviously not backing down. Like I've never seen Stipe say, no, well, he needs another fight. I already beat him or whatever. Like, he doesn't care. Just put whoever in front of him because he wants to be known as the best. The one thing I will say, man, is I have to bring it up, man. I have to bring it up. But, man, he can slur some words, man. Like he is starting to I don't know. I need to go back and look at some of his early interviews, but
syndrome, the Diaz brother syndrome.
No, dude, like more like Chuck Liddell, man. Like, yeah, like that bad, man. Like he like that's why I sent you that meme of Daniel Cormier. That funny. That's gonna be a meme from now on.
Oh yeah, man. Like that was. I noticed it immediately. I was like, he's like manhandling him.
Yeah, he just put his freaking forearm.
He looked like he was turning. He was mugging him.
Yeah, man. give me your milk money.
Oh my god, that was crazy.
But yeah, dude, it's just his speech is not. It doesn't look good, man. And in all seriousness, it doesn't look good. I don't know how his and the thing is, he has taken a lot of time off. He took a lot of time off between the last fight when he got knocked out with DC before he took this fight. And I don't know, man. I just worry about it because again, he's been in the game a while. He's at heavyweight. I mean, he gets hit. He's not unhittable. He gets hit. Mm-hmm. How much damage has his brain taken? And maybe the right thing is, again, selfishly like you, is he gonna have another trilogy with Ngannou? Man, that'd be awesome. But from a human standpoint, like, man, maybe it is time to hang up the gloves,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hate seeing those guys talk, man. I really do. It bothers the shit out of me. Like, when you would hear Nate Diaz talk, it was just it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It like chills you to your core of like,
that's the price.
Has been in this, like, he's been entertaining us and everyone loves Nate Diaz. Everybody loves Nick Diaz. Like, they put on some wars, but damn, we love wars, man. We love those back and forth fights. We like the Roy McDonald versus Robbie Lawlers, But like you said, like it's at what cost? And I don't know. I feel the same, but I also can't. I don't prefer to him to fight. That's the reason I did want him to retire. He's got a really good career on the side that he seems to love doing. And you have something like that. Most people when they retire don't have that. They got to go and they got to find another passion of theirs, or like most athletes do. They just end up going into the field that they're in, just talking about the sport. But he has something that he can actually fall back on that he enjoys doing that doesn't involve talking about fighting. 1 second. Okay.
Well, another thing about that too for Stipe is, because he's a champion and because he's been having these high profile fights with DC, I'm sure he's making at the very least, probably $2 million a fight against DC, because DC's making at least 3 in the fights with Jones, and Stipe would be the B side. So he's a millionaire. He's a millionaire for sure. He's in a city, because I think he lives in Cleveland. He's in a city that doesn't have a high cost of living. He's also, like you mentioned, a firefighter. And again, that's his passion. He's been helping out during this whole coronavirus and as a first responder and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, hopefully he takes care of his money. Which, real quick, interestingly, man, about taking care of your money.
Don't get me started on fighters money.
Oh no, hold on. There was a guy who won a fight night bonus in the last fight card, who said he was gonna pay off his house. Do you remember who that was?
No, I mean, like I can look at the performance bonuses for the last.
Okay, well, he did it, and Eddie Alvarez, who fights for one championship now,
Yeah,
he reached out to him via Twitter and said, "No, do not pay off your house. I know it's something you want to do, but it has a lot of tax benefits to keep a mortgage on it. You know, give me a call and I can walk you through it free of charge. I'm not charging. I just want people to know, fighters to know, you know, some benefits to how to manage their money." And dude, since he was in a lawsuit with Bellator back in the day, he's been about his money. He's been in real estate. You know, he's been able to do things that other fighters haven't been able to do because he's so good with his money.
Yeah.
So that was just talking about Stipe and hoping Stipe is doing good with his money so that he doesn't have to keep fighting, so that he can go back to being a firefighter if he wants to and not have to worry about a payday.
Yeah. All right. Before we go on to a couple of the fight announcements that we've gotten, I have to give out my nickname of the week. My nickname of the week goes to Vince from Hell Pichel.
Yeah, dude. Vince Pichel's dope, man. Vince Pichel's been in the game for a while. He's actually on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
And he has a cool backstory as well. He's an entrepreneur. I think he still is. I have to go look him up, but he's always been an entrepreneur, I guess. And his business is the vending machine business. Mm-hmm. So him owning vending machines and putting them around his local town has allowed him to obviously, one, make a living, but two, be able to train full time. So yeah, that's his story, man. He has a pretty cool story with that. But yeah, that is a pretty cool name.
That was actually my vote for Fight of the Night.
Who did he fight? Pichel fought who?
Jim Miller. Jim Miller and Pichel.
And Jim Miller won though, right?
No, Pichel won.
Oh, Pichel won. I thought Jim Miller had him in a couple. Yeah, I didn't get to see it. I just saw highlights of it, and I saw Jim Miller was kind of like going for some submissions and stuff like that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's a good fight. But I mean, the other fight 100% earned it. But,
I need to watch it. So it's the first opening fight, right?
The first opening fight is the one that got the fight of the night, which is Kai Kamaka and Tony Kelly. Oh, and his is pretty good too. His is Kai Coconut Bombs Kamaka.
Oh, nice, dude. That should have been 1A and 1B right there.
1B. It's From Hell was really cool. I was like, oh,
yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into some of these fight announcements, man. We got a couple.
Hold on. You wanted to talk about John Jones vacating the light heavyweight belt and then it possibly move to heavyweight.
Yeah, that was going to kind of piggyback off of fight announcements because there's
my bad.
made soon. But the two fight announcements that we really should talk about is Paul Craig getting the fight with, who was it again? Damn, why am I blanking?
It's a rematch against
Shogun.
Oh yeah, against Shogun. Yeah.
Shogun showed that in that fight against Minotauro that, I mean, he can still go a good 3 rounds. So Paul Craig, I think he's alternating wins and losses, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
so this will be a big chance for him to take it on, man. They fought to a draw the first. Yeah, so they fought to a draw, right?
Yeah, split draw last November.
So Paul Craig, if you want to move up in these rankings, man, you gotta take out Shogun. And then the big one, man, the big one. Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega finally getting announced.
Man, I've been waiting for that fight for a year. Damn it.
This, and I said, quote, "Let's fucking go," because this is gonna be a crazy fight. It's headlining. It's headlining.
Yeah, it deserves to be, man.
17th. Holy shit, man! These two guys have some bad blood, so I cannot wait to see what these two guys do to each other in the octagon.
Man, this is potentially for a title shot, man. You know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because we're not getting Zabit versus Yair anymore.
Nope.
because Yair is,
And we're not gonna get Max Holloway versus Volkanovski 3 because Volkanovski's running scared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you blame him?
I mean, I don't blame him. I'd probably do the same thing if I was in that position. If I was
I just went too
lackluster.
Max Holloway. Like, against Max Holloway. Like, leave me be. You got beat the fuck up.
Yeah.
Last 2 rounds in that first fight, he got beat the fuck up.
Well, he said he's like, yeah, I just wanted me to keep fighting him until he wins. It's like, no, we want you to keep fighting until you win because you haven't won one damn fight, man.
I really wanted to be on your side on this one. I agree with him, man. Like, hey, what the fuck? Like, and judges say those are your guys, those are your boys, Dana. Don't fucking come at me. Maybe you should find a way to get some more former fighters to be judges instead of boxing judges, if you want certain things. All right, so then let's jump into Jon Jones vacating the light heavyweight title. So we will go ahead and pick who we think is going to get the title shot. I think we probably have the same.
It's already pretty much done.
And then, and we already said it earlier, who is Jon Jones fighting at heavyweight? Because the surprising thing was seeing that he vacated. So I was like, oh shit, maybe he is actually retiring. And then he drops that tweet that you sent me. Had a good conversation with the UFC. And that's always a good thing to hear. A good conversation with the UFC because, hey, you obviously they're not going to come with the money that you want or that you were asking for. But I think maybe the money he was asking for, it's like how when you go to a job interview, you ask for more than you actually want. And they come down to what you actually want.
Yeah, but he's under contract, man, which is ridiculous that you signed that contract. But he's trying to get out of it, I feel. At the same time, he's kind of leveraging moving to heavyweight because people want him to move to heavyweight, which I don't know why. I mean, he's still winning at light heavyweight, even though I think he lost his probably last 2 fights.
I think that's why, because they're tired of him fighting everybody at 205. So, like, can we see you fight somebody fresh? Which there's not any guarantee that he won't do the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
heavyweight.
He has the frame for it. He's 6'4". Mm-hmm. He can put on muscle. He won't cut weight. He'll be at 225, 230, 235 heavyweight, which right now there's no super heavyweights. I mean, there's no Brock Lesnar in there. Overeem cuts, I think, to 265, but Overeem is not going to take him down. He's probably going to try to strike with them.
I think Rosenstruck has to cut too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he does have to cut, but he's not a wrestler, and he's not like super jacked where he can muscle him a lot. Like, they're going to be surprised how strong Jon Jones is at heavyweight, because he's not a weak dude by any stretch. And it's going to be interesting, man. I definitely want to see it happen, just like every other MMA fan. But I don't want him. Obviously, he's probably the greatest light heavyweight of all time. So I wouldn't want him to take more than one fight at heavyweight and then have a title shot. So if you're looking for that, I'm thinking of the Rosenstruck is a perfect match for him, man.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really the only fight I would want to take if I was him. Like that, it's a fast track to the title. It really is. Like, there's not really much else. Like, you look below Derek Lewis, who is probably locked up with Curtis Blades. Below him, you got Overeem coming off with a win, but you don't want Jon Jones going up against Overeem just because, like, it's the 2 veterans. You want to see someone who's hungry. And obviously, I think Alistair is still a professional. He'll go in and put it in, but Rosenstruck is hungry. Once that title, you put him up against a hungry challenger like that, and you just see what those 2 guys can do.
Yeah, if I'm Jon Jones, the only guy I avoid is probably Curtis Blades.
Yeah, because I don't want him all over me.
Yeah, I don't want him wrestling me, getting me tired with how heavy he is. I'd fight Rosenstruck. I would fight Overeem. I wouldn't want to, but I'd fight him. And I would fight Derek Lewis. I'd fight him too. And obviously I'd fight Stipe. And I think, honestly, he has a really good, it's a bad matchup for Stipe to fight Jon Jones. I really do believe that.
You think it'd be more like this trilogy where with Cormier, he loses the first one, maybe make some adjustments and pulls it out, or you just don't think he can match up at all?
Look, man, they're the same size. They're both 6'4". They're both. I mean, he came in at 235 for this fight against DC. I mean, that's Jon Jones. 6'4", 235 is what probably he would fight at heavyweight. He has longer arms. He has better striking. he has the same, if not better, wrestling. So you're basically a mirror image of yourself, but younger, less damage, less shop worn, faster, probably stronger. Maybe, I don't know, because Stipe does have that firefighter strength.
Yeah.
So it's just a bad matchup, dude. It's just a bad matchup for him. I think John probably wins the first fight. If they do a rematch, I think he probably wins the second fight too. If I'm being honest.
I mean,
But he has to get there.
especially these last two fights with John Jones, like he knows exactly what to do to win and doing just enough to win. Like he did just enough to win against Dominic Reyes.
He didn't win that fight, man, but I get what you're saying.
He did just enough to get the judges to say he won.
Yeah,
trust me, I'm right there with you. I was like legitly pissed off at that shit.
You wanted to fight the sport of MMA itself that night.
I was pretty drunk and it was bad. And then with Thiago Santos, he did enough to win. So that's probably exactly what he does against Stipe. It's just enough to win.
Yep, pretty much.
All right, well, it's really all about to talk about there because we won't be able to talk 100% about who his opponent is until he 100% signs up to fight in the heavyweight division. But we both. I'm gonna go ahead and say who we think is gonna fight for the light heavyweight title. It's gonna be Dominic Reyes and Jan.
Yep, I think it's in October, right, or is it September?
And Dominic's gonna win that fight.
You think so?
I think Dominic wins, but I think he does go to decision. Jan's got a big old fucking chin.
I think
Blazers still game 1.
No way, dude.
Yeah, 193.
That's not a steal, man. That's 7 points, man. I mean,
well, I
know they're supposed to win, but
it's the 8 seed still. So both 8 seeds won their first game.
Wow, dude!
The Magic beat the Bucks.
Bubble life.
We digress.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, the Dominic Reyes that fought John Jones beats Jan 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
The one who fought. Who's the one who fought Ozdemir, where he lost, gets beat by Jan.
Oh yeah, he lost to Ozdemir.
So I don't know which Dominic Reyes were getting, and then he fought. Who did he fight before that? Chris Weidman.
Well, yeah, that was after Ozdemir.
So he's a 185er going up to 205, and just that was a get right fight for Reyes, in my opinion, just to be able to boost him to the title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Depending on which one we get, like I know he has it in him because John Jones brought it out of him. But will he feel the same way about Jan? Like, will he want to, be the best Reyes that he can be to beat Jan? And if he doesn't, then Jan, he's a grinder guy, man. He's a grinder. He's a guy that's gonna, he's not the most explosive. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest.
It's not pretty.
Yeah, but he'll get it done somehow, and if you allow him to, he will. So I don't know, man. It's just a weird fight. I hope the Reyes that fought John Jones comes out and wins, and that way we can say that he actually won the John Jones fight, and now he's defending, and he defended it, and that he actually wins. Like I think that would be the better storyline as saying that, he was an uncrowned champ, and this is how good he is now, versus Jan winning. And it's just like, dude, Jan just beat Luke Rockhold, and then he was coming off a loss before that, And didn't Jan beat somebody else recently too, or was it
Souza?
I mean, that's still 185 going up to 205, like
Souza, and then didn't he knock out Anderson? He knocked out Corey Anderson before Corey Anderson left.
Oh, he just knocked out Corey Anderson. Yeah, that's the best fight. That's the best one he has on his record right now.
Was gonna make the step.
I thought he was gonna grind him, but he didn't. But
he got knocked out.
Yeah,
I think he was going to grind him, but then he got knocked out.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just I would rather see Dominic Reyes win, man.
Me too. All right, man. Let's go ahead and let's talk about this most recent Dynamite Contender Series. Last week we saw all 5 winners get a contract, well deserved, 100% well deserved.
Agreed.
So we have 5 more fights here. Let's see what we think, man. So the first fight, did you watch it all the way through?
I didn't watch it. I missed. I think I saw all the fights, but I missed some part of all the fights.
Okay, so first I would talk about is Kenny Cross taking on Kevin Siler, man, and this was a disappointment, man.
Yeah. This was funny, man.
The first thing I thought of was Kevin Cross is extremely like awkward when I watch him fight. Like the way he lunges, and then he's lunging in with his hands down. It is just odd. It was odd to me. And then at the end of the first round, he's laying into him, and then he stands up because he knows that there's not much time left.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going for the end, and Dana says it later, that irks me to no end. It irks me. Like you have. I think it was he had like 8 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah,
and instead of just raining down in hammer fist and could have got a stoppage, just like he was like, oh, there's not enough time for me to get to finish, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stand up. And it's like, what? No, get in there. You don't know what the hell could happen. Look at the Orion Kosei fight. Like that was getting down to the very end, and the fight got called. Like, come on, man, you gotta be better than that. Kevin Siler, they're talking him up, man. And he just didn't look comfortable on the feet with him at all, not on the ground either.
Nope.
So this was a bad fight, in my opinion. Kenny Cross he was legit apologizing to Dana, basically saying like, I'm better than this. And I'm assuming they did because Sean Shelby had some great things to say before the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was like, oh yeah, let's see this fight. This is probably like whenever I heard Shelby there, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like this is gonna be a good one. And I was just like, this is not a good fight.
Yeah, and then afterwards, on his interview saying, he beat an undefeated guy, but it just, I mean, you know what it is on the Contender Series, man. You need a knockout, or you need to show the killer instinct or something. But
yeah, you don't even necessarily need to finish, like because we're going to talk about one of the women, Cheyenne Bays, didn't get to finish, but showed that she's ready for the show, man. Like because, like you said, the killer instinct. Yep. Not once did she get up and walk away before the fight was over. Not once did she quit going for something like.
Yeah, like she was always going for she's always going for the win, always going for the finish, and Cross did it, man. And I don't know, man. It's just these guys
in the middle of the round, when the second round ended, your opponent said, "Do you want I thought you want this contract? Let's go." Like your own opponent is trying to hype you up because he's so bored of fighting you.
Yeah, dude. It was just a bad luck, man. And what I was trying to get to is saying that, I mean, these guys have TVs. These guys see Dana White Contender Series. This is the 4th season, man. It's not like the first season. Like they know what's up. Like, why are you? Like, I hope he's not mad that he didn't get the contract. Because
he's mad at himself that he didn't perform the way he should have performed.
That's on you, then. That's on you. Like, and Dana White had the right to call him out on this one, man. And we go back and forth on what Dana White expects, and sometimes like the dumb stuff that he does and says for different fighters.
Yeah,
but in this instance, he was kind of justified in his critique and his issues with this guy's fight.
Yeah, I think so too. So as you can hear from, if you couldn't tell, he did not get the contract.
Nope.
I guess not deserved, but in terms of there was no doubt about it. He didn't deserve the contract. Come back next year. Sorry, guys.
Pretty much, yeah.
Heavyweight, we have Josh Parisian taking on Chad Johnson. And dude, for a second, man, I thought Chad Johnson had Parisian on the ropes. You know what? He did have him on the ropes. But for some reason, and I've seen it a few weeks already, they're going right. They rock their opponent, and they go for a fucking takedown, and that's another pet peeve of mine. What are you doing? You have them, and sorry, kids, this isn't a PG show. What are you doing, man? Like that's ridiculous. You have them on the ropes. You got them hurt, man. Like get in there and keep laying in the fists. It's almost like they fall. It's like they get so excited they're throwing punches and they just fall into the damn takedown. It looks stupid.
Yeah, or they think, all right, he's rocked. I could take him down and then ground and pound him from the mount position or something.
And stand and pound.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. I don't get it. I've always said that's bad fight IQ. You literally beat this guy on your feet. Like, it's a game of chess and you're beating him on your feet. Why would you want to take it down when you can knock him out right now, or end the fight?
And that ended up hurting him, man. Like he ended up in the clinch. First of all, Parisian has his back to the fence and lands a nasty knee on him that sends him careening to the floor. And he was just bringing down some bricks, man. Parisian.
Yeah, dude. Well, your boy Felder, I think it was Felder, kept saying a true heavyweight. So Chad Johnson is not a heavyweight, man. He's a probably light heavyweight. He looks small, and Parisian used his pretty big weight advantage and just got on top of him, mounted him, and like you said, just rained some heavy shots and put him out, dude. It was ugly. It was an ugly finish, man.
He knocked him out with a few of those first ones, and his arm flailing. And I personally thought that he was knocked out. The rep probably should have ended it a little sooner, but maybe he thought the arms are moving. He's defending, but I didn't see no defending. I saw him taking a beat. Hands are. Their body was awake, but the lights were on. But there was
no one home.
Yeah, man, it was bad. But yeah, Parisian gets the contract. Good on him, dude. I think the heavyweight division is going to be welcoming this guy very soon. You'll see him, very quickly getting some knockouts, and he's the typical like picture of what a heavyweight is. He's a big dude. He throws hard hand. He throws some big hands. And he's gonna knock you out. He might end up getting knocked out for his time, because that's just what happens sometimes. Yeah, it's just what happens sometimes when you're in the especially because Chad Johnson was in terms of defense, Parisian's defense wasn't the best, but he's got hands that'll go in there and knock out anybody, probably, man.
Man, I love who I'd love to see him fight, man.
Who?
That guy's that was in, I think, Abu Dhabi. Bozer. Is it Bozer? The Bozer, the guy with the mullet, the sweet mullet. He has 2 knockouts.
Yeah.
That'd be a good fight.
Man, that'd be a good fight, dude. Those guys will be throwing for a while.
Yeah, they're not scared. They'd be throwing.
For sure. All right, man. Parisian gets the contract. He's the first one to get the contract. Next up, we have Orion Kossi taking on Matt Dixon. And this, I believe, was the biggest upset in terms of odds. Yanni the Greek even betted on Dixon in this fight.
Exactly.
Some money.
That was interesting, man. What'd you think about that? Because they haven't done that. I mean, they did it a couple times, but not every time, right?
They've been doing it every time this week. This
season, right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
they weren't doing it last season. They did like every now and then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like last season, it was more like, I don't even know. Like whenever he was in town or something, I don't know. But this season, they're kind of doing it every week, and I kind of like it, man.
We're in quarantine, man. Maybe he can't leave town.
Yeah, that's true.
Vegas. But I enjoy it, dude. I like hearing who he has his
and why. I like the why.
He does it plenty of time, yeah, because he does his research. He's not a joke. Because I think he had there's nothing that he had no wrong reasons for picking Dixon. Like
exactly
all the things. It's just I don't think he expected Dixon to gas out in round 3.
Yeah,
and I already know why he gassed out. But so Orion Kossi versus Matt Dixon. Orion Kossi is one of the 2 brothers that's on this card. First time in Contender Series
history,
which is cool. Kossi comes in. Matt Dixon, he rules the first round. The whole entire first round was him. You can even say the second round was maybe his. It's that third round where you can literally see Dixon. You saw Dixon couldn't stand up, and Kossi was standing up in between rounds, and just ready to go. I think he knew, hey man, I got to go in there and get this. I got to go in there and get this dub. He's got 100% finish rate. He hasn't gone to decision yet, but he goes into this round, man. I think it was all the stuff takedowns. Like Dixon probably got maybe 2 takedowns on him, 3 takedowns on him out of maybe 10 that he attempted. Yeah. And like you said, that is the thing that's gonna kill your motor the most, man. That you're going for all these takedowns and not getting anything.
Yeah, so not only does it cost energy to go for it and then to get shook off, but also it demoralizes you, man. Like you're trying to get this guy on the mat and he's just saying, no, we're not. We're gonna keep standing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to the point where Orion in the third round just said, you know what? I'm gonna go for the takedown now. And I'm gonna say he literally he dropped him on his head, and I think Uriah Faber told him, because Uriah Faber was in Orion's corner. He yelled out, "He's dazed! Like get in there!" He gets him in the crucifix, a la Pineda.
Man, that was
finish.
That was nasty. That was a nasty finish, dude. I liked it, and he struggled with that crucifix for a little bit, but he didn't give up on it.
Yeah,
and
that goes to the fact that Dixon was completely gassed. He couldn't. I mean, he did his best to defend it, but eventually got him.
Yeah, and another thing that MMA Twitter, the Twitter sphere, is saying is that if you train with Uriah Faber and you get a win, no matter how good or bad you look, you're getting a contract, man.
Oh, okay. Let's get into why. So Ryan Cosey does get the contract, but Dana White gave him the business a little bit. He gave him a contract with like a little bit of a tag on the end of like, hey, don't do this shit again. Because at the end of the first round, he has him in a good position. He looks like he's raining down a couple fists on. Oh no, they're standing, right?
They're standing up and they're just going at it, but they're kind of both. I guess a little bit of an energy dump, and they're a little tired.
Yeah, and Cosey stops with like 4 seconds to go.
He looks up. Yeah, he looks up at the clock. He sees that there's like 3 seconds left, and he bumps his fist and walks away.
Yeah, and Dixon bumps his fist back, and Dana says that, I'm pretty sure if he didn't get the finish, he wouldn't have got the contract. Because I
definitely feel that if he didn't get the finish, he wouldn't have gotten the contract.
Because Dana was very upset at that. That was a big no-no from Cosby. And I think Cosby might learn. I hope he learns his lesson.
This is where we loop back to the beginning of this episode, and we say this is an unwritten rule of MMA.
It is.
You don't stop, with seconds left on the clock. Yeah. You use all the time allotted to you to try to get a knockout or a victory.
Well, don't forget what happened to Betch Correa. Like, she almost got her fucking ass knocked out because she was doing that shit. Like, she did that shit, and it's because she mistaked it. It's not like she was like bumping fists to like, okay, like we only got 10 seconds. Let's fucking just go this way. She got confused.
Yeah,
like a mistake like that leads to a fucking knockout, and Dixon had every right to pop him one in the face real quick.
Yeah, not only that, man, but like Betch Correa, just because it's just dumb and aloofness, being aloof.
That's why she got released.
So even if she were to get knocked out, we're like, okay, she's dumb, But in this instance, it's more like, what are y'all doing, man? Like, what's the
contract?
What is going on here? You guys are trying to fight to get into the UFC, and I'd be taking every split second available to ensure that Dana White has no other choice but to hand me a contract, man. And instead, you're like, we got like 4 or 5 seconds left here. Let's just bump hands and just walk to our corner.
If I was his coach, I would have slapped the shit out of him.
But it's both of them. It's both of them. If I'm, what's the guy's name? Dixon. I'm like shaking my head and just trying to punch him in the face right there,
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. You're 100% correct. I know we might sound like a bunch of curmudgeons
or a bunch of keyboard warriors over here, but come on, man.
Yeah, I agree. All right, man. Next up, we have women's strawweight, and this is probably my fight of the night. Cheyenne Bays taking on Hillary Rose. Dude, this is a great fight. A great fight. And I think in the second round, I was ready to give Cheyenne the contract. But at the same time, I say this probably like once a week, Hillary Rose, stay ready. Stay ready, man. Because if Dana needs someone to come in for a strawweight fight, I'm calling Hillary Rose because she looks good. You just ran into a monster who was not going to lose by any means. Like, you were going to have to kill her to lose. That's my interpretation, and that's why this is the unanimous decision that gets the contract, because she had that killer instinct. She was going for the finish. She was trying to knock her out. Then you have Hillary Rose, who was not going to give up, and so she had it. She not only did she try to get the finish no matter what, but she did have some some pushback, some a little bit of competition that she had to dig down deep and pull something out of her and get the win, and that's why she gets the contract.
So I didn't see the whole fight. I did see some of it, but I'm gonna make a new rule on our podcast.
Mhm.
And if I'm a fighter, I'm asking Dana White to send me the pre-reel of my opponent first. And if I hear that they're either married to a fighter, because Cheyenne Buys is married. Hold on, one, that they train together, and then 2, 3, that they have a gym in their house so that they can continue to train. I'm like, no, okay, this guy, this person obviously lives, breathes, and eats MMA. I'm good.
And he was supposed to be on the Contender Series last week.
Yeah.
But because of COVID, he wasn't able to get like a work visa. So not only that, like they're both fighting for contracts, so they're going at it in the gym.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm not. No, Dana. You know what? I just like MMA, but these people obviously like have it in their blood, so I'm good.
Hillary Rose, you're like, why do you hate me, Dana?
Yeah. So again, that's a new rule on the podcast, dude.
Hillary Rose might win this fight if it's anybody else.
Exactly.
I probably say it like once a week, but if that's anybody else, she wins that fight. She's fast as fuck. Like
she's literally like. She literally said she's basically training from when they wake up to when they go to sleep. That's all they do.
Yeah, but I can't wait to see Cheyenne Buys in the UFC. I'm ready for her first fight, and I'm ready for Hillary Rose's first fight.
Yeah, man. I think like you said, this was a 2 pretty good fighters. Just a better one won, but definitely both of them have something there that we want to see more of.
Yeah, and I think Paul Felder said the best is that. It's all about Dana's trying to find guys or girls who are ready, who are UFC ready. And Paul Felder says it's not always about the finish. You can go in there and you can catch somebody and not be UFC ready. But Cheyenne Buys showed even without the finish that she's UFC ready. She could, like I'm thinking about the possibilities of a Buys versus, I know it's way ahead, but like a Buys versus a Jurjejic or a Buys versus a Angela Hill, like those fights are already running through my head of like, holy shit, like
that would be such a good
contenders. Yeah. Those are like fight of the year contenders. Like,
but I think I don't know, man. Would you say she's been the most UFC ready fighter that we've seen in the Contender Series
of this year?
Let's just say overall. I mean, who would you say?
Shit, that's tough, man. That's
this year probably for sure, huh?
I think probably what was it, Quarantillo, or the one that had the big fight against it was those two guys. The two guys that went at it together. I can't remember who he fought. It was like Tran or something like that. But him. But then he ended up getting beat by a fucking I don't know, man. Baeza probably comes to mind in terms of I think he can go in there and knock out anybody. Miguel Baeza.
But Baeza, when he fought, he got rocked and he almost lost his fight. He came back.
So, yeah, that's gonna be up there, man.
She's up there, man. She's up there. That's what I'm saying. Like
I put Yanez up there. Adrian Yanez maybe is.
Oh yeah. I mean, he looked really good. Because even like Miles John looked really good, and then he got into UFC and he lost his first fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. She looked good.
It's tough. There's a lot of great people that have come out, man. But
even your boy, what's your boy name that keeps losing?
Oh, Brock Weaver.
Brock Weaver.
Oh, man, there you go, man. Like we're not always right about these, so. But I think Cheyenne Buys is definitely up there with probably the most UFC ready. Like you think about the different things that she could do with these people. Oh, who's the one from last week? Impa Kasangane. I think that dude's UFC ready.
We did say that last week, I think.
Yeah, because that dude is holy shit.
Yeah,
we'll see soon. Like you said, we'll see soon.
Yeah,
if he's UFC ready. All right, man. Last one, the main event. Luis Kosei taking on Victor Reina, and Luis decided, I'm not going to do what my brother did. I'm going to end this quickly. And boy, did he end it quickly. A nasty punch that just sent Reina, crashing to the floor, and just the hammer fist. They come raining down, and there's nothing else to do but end the fight. Reina, his problem last time is he was a little gun shy. I think in his last, because he was in there last year. I don't remember who he fought, but you saw the video, and he was just kind of like going like this the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a clear sign that you don't like to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Lewis saw that and said, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to hit this dude. And that's exactly what he did and gets the win here.
Yeah, and he landed that punch earlier in the fight, which is, I mean, it only lasted 1 minute and 12 seconds, but he landed that punch earlier in the fight, which was like a little overhand right over, because it was a southpaw versus a orthodox, so he landed the right hand over his left. And I mean, credit to him, he saw it. He saw that punch there, and he said, I already landed it once. I'm gonna do it again, until he figures out a way to block it. But except this time, he caught him flush. Right on the button, sent him crashing down, and it was all over from there, man. I mean, he got some hits to the back of the head, but he also got a bunch of hits to the ear and to the chin, and it put him out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, and he also gets the contract. So 4 contracts handed out this week. I was gonna say, man, he's like, Dana's being a little generous, but he also did cut a lot of people recently. So, so it looks like he's trying to spice up his roster a little bit, and I think he makes the right decisions. So we had 2 welterweights, a heavyweight, and a women's strawweight getting the contracts. Heavyweight, I think he's always looking for guys in heavyweight because the division can be so thin at times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's up there. I will say, in terms of welterweight, I'll have to see more from Lewis just because of how does he stack up with those wrestlers. And I just saw his brother stuff a high-level wrestler for the majority of the fight. So Can he do that again? And all that other stuff. But also, I can't wait to see Lewis trade some bombs with some people, man, in the welterweight division. And then I already told you who the different fighters I'm ready to see Bays go up against. There's so many great fights, and that's at the top. Like that, she always needs like 1 or 2 before she breaks the rankings. Because strawweight is very top heavy.
Yeah, that's another division that needed an influx of talent, and I think that's what Dana White's trying to do. Like, I think we're going to see this going forward as well. Like every time right before or during the Contender Series, he's going to let go of a bunch of fighters and see, if he can have some influx of new fighters that are exciting or more exciting. And honestly, I think that's the way to go. You don't want to have the same roster if they're not producing or they're not doing good. Like I feel like the amount of chances that you get now in the UFC has gone down because of the Contender Series. And as a fighter, that sucks because if you have, let's say you had a fluke loss and then 1 bad outing, you're cut. But before they'd give you another chance. And now it's like, no, dude, you're cut. We got a guy coming in that knocks people out with flying, spinning heel kicks or something, Yeah. And that's what they want to see. They want to see them. They don't want to see your 2-fight losing streak, hoping to get 1 win to stay in the UFC. Go back to the regionals, get better, get more knockouts, and then we'll bring you back up if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at like the different contracts. So the first week you had 2 lightweights and then the heavyweight getting the contract. But you also look at the what was also the other fight, and that was flyweight. And he's always looking for flyweights. And that flyweight fight was Luis Rodriguez, Jerome Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
And we both thought that Luis Rodriguez won. I think if Luis Rodriguez wins that fight, he might get that contract.
Yeah, potentially.
Because of the way how good he looked and made that comeback. And then you had last week was middleweight, bantamweight, women's strawweight, featherweight, and then another middleweight fight. I think middleweight's one of those another one of those divisions that it's so you can put it into chaos very very quickly. The middleweight division, one guy comes falling and you can hit it. Featherweight is crazy stacked, but it's always seems to be kind of
rotating.
Yeah, it's the rotating cast. Like you got to go in there and get your win, and capitalize on your wins. On your opportunities. You gotta look at Volk. Even though we both think he lost both fights, he goes in there and he capitalized on both opportunities that he had. Because you never know when you're gonna get another opportunity like that. So you have that. You have the strawweight and the bantamweight. Bantamweight, I think Jan is gonna be really good, but bantamweight is another one of those ones where it's a rotating cast of characters, and you gotta take those opportunities when you can. And I think the Contender Series is a good indication of high pressure. You got to come in, you got to perform, and you have to perform to the best of your ability. And it gives Dana an idea of how these guys might perform at the top level. However, it's up to you to be ready for that UFC debut. This is just the beginning. You got to be ready for that debut.
Mm-hmm.
And Dana White can use this as a kind of way to suss that out. And then the strawweight, he's always going to be looking at that. They have a little so next week you have 2 middleweight fights, 2 lightweight fights, and flyweight fights. So again, the thing I was saying is he's looking to shore up these divisions that might have like at least lightweight stacked like crazy, but you might have a few people maybe retiring soon.
Mm-hmm.
Showtime Anthony Pettis, Donald Cerrone. You never know when Jim Miller might call it quits. Like you have those guys, and you got to be able to replace them with somebody. And flyweight, I mean, he's always looking for flyweight talent because he could have got rid of the division, didn't. So he's got to be able to fill out those rosters.
You know who would have been a good flyweight? Demetrius Johnson.
Bring him in, man. That's young up and comer.
Bring him in for a tryout.
Yeah, bring him in for a tryout. Young up and comer. He just got started. Yeah, Demetrius Johnson. Why not? And one championship just got started again recently. I saw. Good for them.
I need to check in on them because I haven't been keeping up with them.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and call it a night, man. We hit 2 hours, right on the dot, basically.
Right on the dot, man.
SummerSlam card. There's a lot of stuff on the SummerSlam card, but I don't necessarily think I need to go too in depth. The one thing that I am excited for, like that comes off the top of my head, is we are getting Dominic Mysterio taking on Seth freaking Rollins, man. And dude, if you didn't know if you didn't think Dominic was in it, see if you can find a picture of Dominic's chest after taking a bunch of kendo sticks from Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy last week, man. Whew, I'll send you a pic, dude.
Yeah, send it to me, man.
I'll send it to you. We also got tag team championship match. Okay, I'm excited for the Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. Obviously, Dominic versus Seth Rollins in a street fight is going to be fun. You have Asuka is going to be doing double duty. She's going to be taking on first Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship, and then after that, she's going to take on Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Dude, what if she wins both, becomes a champ?
It's a very big possibility.
Because you always tell me that they don't ever give her enough limelight, right?
Dude, and yeah, I was surprised with this because like what they had happen was Friday, Stephanie came out and said there was going to be a cross-brand, like inter-promotional branded battle royal to decide Bayley's new challenger. Sasha Banks lost to Asuka that Monday, so Asuka earned a shot against Sasha, and then in the middle of the battle royal, Asuka comes out and wins the battle royal. So she's going to be pulling double duty. We'll see how that goes. And then we have Braun Strowman taking on The Fiend for the Universal Championship. The Fiend has been getting inside of Braun's head. Braun seems to be he seems to be a different person. He says he's a monster now that after The Fiend threw him in the swamp. So we'll see how that goes. And then we also have a hair versus hair match. Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville, former best friends. Hair versus hair. Whoever loses gets their head shaved.
Wow.
See how that goes.
I want to see that match.
I want to send my prayers out to Sonya Deville, a.k.a. Daria. She recently, this past week, I think it was this weekend or maybe yesterday, someone broke into her house and attempted to kidnap her.
Wow.
They found him. So he broke into her house. The alarm went off, so she was able to get who she was with. I believe was her girlfriend. And get her out the house and call the cops. The cops came. He was still in the house. He had a knife, a taser, some formaldehyde, and zip ties with him. Apparently, he had been stalking her for 8 months and was attempting to kidnap her. So I'm gonna send all my prayers to her, dude. That's a super traumatic experience that she.
Yeah, man, that sucks. But the silver lining, man, that guy's gonna go away for a long time.
Yeah, my only like thing I wish would have happened is I wish that she would have, because she's a former MMA fighter. I wish she would have gotten her hands on him. Like, just fucking teach that guy a lesson. Like, don't be a fucking creep, guys. Don't be a creep.
Yeah.
All right, guys, but we're gonna go ahead and call it a night.
Oh man, I think did Alec call it a night and just not sign off? I don't know. Tune in and see. Hold on.
What the fuck just happened?
I can hear you, bro. I just can't hear your video. I just can't see your video.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. There you go. There you go. There you go.
What the fuck
There you go.
happened? That was weird. My computer turned off for a second. But yeah, let's go ahead and call it a week. We didn't really jump into the card for next week. It is Pedro Munoz versus Frankie Edgar. The only thing I will say is, if I'm Frankie Edgar going into the bantamweight division, the first person I want to see is not Pedro Munoz. So we'll see how that goes. But check back, guys, here for next week. Good.
I said that fight should be interesting, though.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it. But we're gonna go ahead and see you guys next week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. right after Dana White's Contender Series. We'll be talking about Contender Series, talking about SummerSlam happening on Sunday, and we'll be talking about UFC Fight Night, Munoz versus Edgar. I'm Alec Miller. You can find me on Twitter at AlecMiller0423. You can find Jesus right there at The Real Jesus. That's spelled JeeZus. And we will see you guys next week. Peace out, guys. I love you, Joe.
AMF.